We've taken out every single middleman, and that's what's allowed us to scale up so fast. Your JD gyms, your Pure gyms, $1 million to open their sites. We're spending a fraction of what they're spending. We made some serious contacts out in China. We went straight to the source for the equipment. It's significantly easier and far more efficient to find loyal people in your life and upskill them, as opposed to finding skilled people and trying to teach them loyalty. Frankie, you can work for me. You're on 50 grand a year for the rest of your life. I'll give you the odd bonus. Like, that's great, but there's no longevity in that. You're not going to get any passion from anybody in that. So what I'd say to the lads is, look, here's your salary. Stick with it for 6 months. Here's a couple of targets. If you do that, I will give you a share of the business for absolutely nothing. Once you hit a certain point, passive income, the actual hours that you're doing on the clock, I want you to give that opportunity down to the next man. We have a system in place that's working really, really well, and don't get me wrong, we've been burnt a good few times. It's worth being burnt by 99 people just to find that one person. But even if they're struggling to pay their bills and they see you killing it and they're still applauding for you, when you find people like that around you, you have to hold on to them for dear life. You have something in the UK called benefit in kind tax, and most people don't know this, and most people go and buy their fancy cars, their Lamborghinis, their Porsches, they buy it on the business, and they get away with it, but what they don't realise is if HMRC ever becomes aware of it, they are emissions, and because of its value, I have to pay 40% of its value in benefit and kind tax per year. 2 and a bit years, I've paid more than the value of the car just for the privilege of using the car. So it's enough to bankrupt you. I love Teslas. My Teslas are better than my Lamborghini, hands down, 1,000,000%.
I disagree. I completely disagree with you.
The reality is, I'm quite selfish. If you're hyper wealthy, great, it's fantastic. But unless everyone around you is hyper wealthy, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Okay, I want to go to New York this week. Who fancies going? Oh, can't take time off work. I want to empower my friends to have their own space and their own passive income, so that if I say to the guys, look, I fancy going to Rio for 2 weeks, who fancies coming with me? Not one of them can say to me, I've got work. Well, no, you haven't. I know you haven't. I know you can.
And we are back for the first episode ever in Marbella, and I'm excited to bring you this man. 12 months ago, we sat down for an episode, and he's absolutely sent it since then. Nick Capo, welcome to the podcast, my man.
Pleasure to be back, brother.
It's mate, what you've achieved in the last 12 months, I said to you off air, mate, I'm super proud of what you've achieved, seeing it from the outside looking in. But obviously we covered your original story and everything in the last episode. And guys, if you want to listen in, dial into that. It's a phenomenal story of Nick coming through adversity. But mate, give me a bit of an insight into what's been happening in the last 12 months for you, because I've seen you scale like 10x since we last sat down.
Yeah, it's been absolutely wild, man. It's certainly not. When we sat down last year, it was an entirely different world. At the time when we shot that episode, I think I had the one main gym. I think we were close to opening a second.
Yeah,
we had a couple of issues there. Since then, we've scaled dramatically, and that's mostly down to the team that I built around me. Since then, we were kind of in the infancy of structuring a decent team at the time, and since then we've just gone strength to strength. We found couple of key guys who were in my life who've kind of given up the day jobs that they had to jump on and be part of the team, and I really can't stress the difference that's made in how exponential our growth has been. It's been absolutely nuts, man. We've
because you were at the time, you were one gym. I think you were doing like 1.5 to 2 million at the time. You were doing, and yeah, one facility. So where are you now?
Yeah, so we have 4 sites now. We're moving 2 of them to bigger locations just to kind of fit in with the model that we've kind of set ourselves into now. We are, by the end of this year, we should have the 6 sites. But more so than just the gyms, what we've done is we've completely stripped every single part of the process back to bare bones, and we've taken out every single middleman. And that's what's allowed us to scale up so fast. So for, if you're looking at your JD gyms, your Pure gyms, the chains like that, they're spending like $1 million to open their site. We're spending a fraction of what they're spending, and the reason for that is we made some serious contacts out in China. We went straight to the source for the equipment. So we've slowly built a relationship up with the factory that we've got in China, to the point where they've now given us the exclusivity rights to their brand in the UK. So nobody else in the UK can buy from this particular factory, and their quality is absolutely phenomenal. And we built a personal relationship with them, and the issue that they've had in the industry is most UK businesses that they're used to dealing with, I've spoken to them like shit. They just treat them like dirt because they're over in China. There's obviously a little bit of a language barrier, but that's certainly not the main reason. But the background that I come from, and the way that I've kind of built myself in life is I treat people how they treat me, and they've always been decent with me. So I've shown them that in return, and we built what I'd say is closer to a personal relationship than a business relationship. So we have this exclusivity contract. We're able to get our equipment for absolutely buttons, and it wasn't easy to navigate at first because you've got the logistics of bringing everything in through China. You've got your import duties, the engineering that goes into, building everything. And it's been chaotic because my team had no real applicable skill set prior to this. So the team that I have, about 12 of us, about 12 lads, and none of them have any experience in business, in engineering, in manufacturing, nothing whatsoever. But what we've done is, at least my ethos is, it's significantly easier and far more efficient to find loyal people in your life and upskill them, rather than, as opposed to finding skilled people and trying to teach them loyalty. It's a recipe for disaster. If you're out there looking for talent, and then you're gonna bring that talent into your business and then try and teach them to be loyal or encourage them to be loyal, it's almost always destined to fail, because skill is just going to go from opportunity to opportunity and they're going to jump ship. So what I do in life is I look for the people who are most loyal to me and I'll upskill them, even if that costs me more in the short term, which it almost always does. I'll see, I have a friend around me who's been loyal for 5, 6, 7 years, and they're in a job there and they're absolutely miserable in working 50 hours a week, hardly getting any time to spend with their kids. They're living paycheck to paycheck. And I'll say, listen, there's an opportunity within our business. It's a skill set that you don't have. You're going to be extremely uncomfortable picking it up. Well, I'll pay you to take the course. I'll pay you for your time and I'll pay for the course. Step out of your job. And then when you're on the other side of that, you'll have a job with us for life. And it's obviously requires a lot of trust of that person in me to come through at the end of that, because obviously they're giving up their careers. There's no guarantee they'd ever get the job back that they're in. So the lads around me have taken that gamble, come out of their jobs, upskilled. So now I have teams of engineers, I've got marketing managers, I've got, finance directors, and these are all people who've got absolutely no previous experience in these roles. Well, I know they're going nowhere. And I've got absolute loyalty from every single man on my team. And it's been, it's been difficult, and it's taken us longer than it would have took any other company. But the longevity that we've got through taking that approach it's endless. And that's reflected in the progress that we've had over the last 12 months. I think when we met last year, we were just in the infancy. Like, I kind of gathered the team around me, but that was before they'd kind of upskilled. And then within a few months after our last episode, everybody was kind of in the right position where they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew their role in the business. They knew exactly what it is that they needed to do. And once we got everybody on that level, it's been absolutely insane. It's been exponential. So we are, by the end of this year, we'll have the 6 sites. We have a manufacturing company now for the equipment. So as a side business, we have the supply company. So we're supplying gyms up and down the country. And we're able to provide equipment cheaper than any other firm. So all of the top names in the industry, they're charging extortionate amounts for their equipment. And our quality is on par, if not better than what they're serving up, because we've eliminated all the middlemen. So we're able to offer people in the industry a cheaper option with the same quality and still make big profits. And what I've done with the guys on all these different ventures is I've given them shares in the companies to incentivize them to, obviously push everything as far as possible. And it's I think the growth that we've experienced is simply due to the fact that everybody is properly incentivized. It's not a case of, Frankie, you can work for me, you're on 50 grand a year for the rest of your life, I'll give you the odd bonus. Like, that's great, but there's no longevity in that. You're not going to get any passion from anybody in that. So what I'd say to the lads is, look, here's your salary, stick with it for 6 months, here's a couple of targets. If you do that, I will give you a share of the business for absolutely nothing. And then there on out, you're now part owner in the business, and go up and up and up. And the dynamic that we've got within each business, and we have 7 businesses now, all in the same kind of field, is that the lads are taking these opportunities and they're leveling up. And the one thing that I say to them is, listen, once you hit a certain point, passive income, and once you hit number X, and that's entirely passive, the actual hours that you're doing on the clock, I want you to give that opportunity down to the next man. I want you to step out of that seat, take your passive income, and the role that you had, I want you to pass that down to the next man who shows loyalty. And we have a system in place that's working really, really well. And don't get me wrong, we've been burnt a good few times. I've been asked quite a few times now why I keep trying to give so much to people when I've been burnt so many times. Because I've been betrayed, I've been stabbed in the back, I've given huge opportunities to people who've taken the first opportunity to bail on me, leave me in the dirt. Well, my response to that is quite simple. It's like you might give 30 people huge opportunities. You might invest time, finances, energy, love, loyalty, whatever it is, into, say, 30 people. 29 of them will burn you. That one person that you've got left is worth their weight in gold. It's worth being burnt by 99 people just to find that one person. So if it takes me being burnt 290 times to gain 10 fiercely loyal, fiercely dedicated, hard-working men in my life, I will happily take that 100 times over. And that's, that's why we've been able to grow so quickly. It's because everybody's on the same level. We do all our social stuff together. We take trips away together. Everything that we do is all together, and we skill share. And because all of the business feed into each other, so we have a coaching company, the supply company, we have a marketing company, we have the gyms themselves, we have a clothing company. Everything feeds into each other, and because we've got this team that work in such harmony, and because everybody knows each other on a personal level, like I won't hire outside of our social circle. I just won't do it. I don't care what skill it is. I will not hire outside of our social circle. If you don't spend time with us socially and you're not part of our family network, I just won't hire you. Simple as that.
How can other business owners that listen to this implement this kind of system in their business? I mean, what is the kind of process? Because obviously the process that you're laying down right now is something that you've developed over the last 12-month period, probably longer. How, if you were to streamline it into a certain set of points that people could follow in order so they could implement it into their business, what would you say?
It's association. And a term phrase that I've lived by most of my life is that association breeds similarity. If you surround yourself with 4 or 5 people who are very egotistical, self-centered, the kind of people that will applaud you when you do something great, but deep down they really don't want to see you doing well. You have 2 different types of people. You have those who will cheer for you when you're on the way up, but then once you get there, it's a whole different story. You want the people that are willing to applaud, the few friends around you, and there will be very few, those who are still applauding for you when you hit the very top, and they're still at the bottom, but they're still happy for the fact that you've got that success. Whereas 9 out of 10 people will cheer you on the way up, and then once you get there, they don't like it because they see you on the way up. And I've seen a clip from Alex Mosey talking about this not too long ago. It's like everybody's happy when you're on the way up because you're taking a risk that they're not. So they see you putting yourself in danger, and they're happy to cheer you on because you're taking a little bit of risk and it hasn't paid off yet. And then once you get to the top, then people don't like it anymore. But the one in 10 friend that will cheer you all the way, even if they're struggling to pay their bills and they see you killing it and they're still applauding for you. When you find people like that around you, you have to hold on to them for dear life, and you have to let them know that they are appreciated. And if you can find a way to capitalize on that together, then you're set for something truly beautiful. And it takes time, as you said. You can't do it overnight. You can certainly streamline it, but you're definitely not going to do it overnight, and you're going to get burnt time and time again. And a lot of people will walk away at that point and go, "No, I'm done with it. No more opportunities for anyone else. I want to do this on my own." And it's to get anywhere, to reach any level of true success on your own it's extremely difficult. You're talking 1 in a billion. So, you shouldn't be deterred when you get burnt from, bringing people along. You have to get used to being vulnerable. There's no other way to do it. And you just have to look for good people in your life. You have a plan, you have to stick to it, and you just have to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, and you're going to not get knocked down and knocked down and knocked down and knocked down. And if you can get through the other side of that, you're set to do something, truly tremendous. So in way of streamlining it, I just say people, your network is absolutely everything. The people that you keep around you, you need good energy around you all the time. You need positive people. You need people who are going to encourage you, who are going to endorse your ideas, and people who are willing to help. And the reason I've got to where I am is because a lot of my friends, when I had next to nothing and I was trying to build something, I needed help. I needed people's time. I needed people's labor. I didn't have enough money to hire people, to hire trades. And I had a good set of friends who would finish work at 4 o'clock and they'd come and help me for 3-4 hours before they even went home. And this went on for months and months and months. And, there's maybe 7 or 8 people in my life who did this. They gave up so much of their time for free, never asked me for anything. And they had no idea at that point that this is where it was going to go. That was just true, genuine selflessness. If you can find people like that, again, you just need to nurture that relationship and make sure that you give them opportunities. The way that we work as human beings, we work entirely off incentives. Everything about human nature works off incentives. You have to incentivize or you get nowhere. And once you find your small little clique, you then have to start to incentivize. Look, I have a dream. This is where I want to be. I want to bring you in on it. If we try it together, we get there. I guarantee you a slice, and you have to be a person of your word. And the strength that I have in my word, and any of my close friends and teammates will tell you this, if I shake your hand on something or I give you my word, no matter what, that's going to happen. Even if it comes to the detriment to me. If I agree something with you today, Frankie, and I say, look, we do X, Y, and Z, I will give you whatever. If things change between here and that end goal, and me sticking to my word is then going to come at a detriment to me, doesn't matter. I will stick to my word no matter what. So the people that are around me know that if I say something, I am 100% going to die on that hill. And the value of your word, I think, is completely... I think it's undervalued these days. And I think people don't understand quite how powerful it can be if you're known as somebody that keeps to your word. You know, if you make someone a promise, if you're a guy who is known for letting people down and sometimes keep your word, sometimes you don't. If you were to approach someone and say, look, I really need your help with this project, at the end of it, I promise I'll give you X, Y, and Z. You know, 9 out of 10 people are not going to take it because you're not known for keeping your word. But if you are categorically known, without question, you're going to keep to your word, most people are going to help you. So there's big value in that.
It allows you to get buy-in from other parties when it comes down to, you know, what you doing what you say you're going to do all the time.
Yeah, exactly, and it's extremely powerful, and I try and embody that in the rest of my friends. And what I say to them is, if you're, so you have 5 friends, you have friend A, friend B, friend C, D and E, and you are all at the bottom of a high wall. And this is something that I've actually put into physical practice back in my parkour and free running days. If the 5 of you are at the bottom of this high wall, say it's 16 feet, any single one of you trying to get up that wall on your own, you got no chance. Without any equipment or anything, you're not getting up that wall. Whereas if guy A helps guy B onto his shoulders, B pulls C, he gets to the top. You've now got one man at the top. Now, next man comes along, stands on D, he's on the shoulders, C pulls him up. And eventually everybody comes up and you get everyone onto the top of this wall. And now you're on the next level. And then you just repeat that cycle over and over again. But the thing that people really struggle with that concept is that somebody has to be last. Someone has to be the last man up the wall. So somebody is going to be, in any conventional dynamic, somebody is going to be disappointed that they're the last man up the wall, unless that person knows for a fact that you're going to pull him up and you're going to reap equal benefits at the top. But it takes complete trust in that system for it to actually work. Because if any one person in that group thinks, well, maybe they're not going to pull me up, maybe I'm going to help them up to the next level and they're not going to pull me up, well, I'm not going to help him get up because he might not pull me up in the end. And then everybody stays stuck at the bottom of the wall. So you need to develop absolute trust within your group. And this is why I take such a hard line on keeping my word to people. Because if I say, look, help me up to the top of this wall, and I promise you with everything that I've got, I will pull you up. And that's the relationship that I have with my team. And everybody has absolute trust that no matter what, if they help me do X project or X task, they know for a fact that if I give my word that they're coming with me, they are coming with me no matter what.
Mate, I love it because at the end of the day, it's just a different way of framing the way you look at life. Because at the end of the day, if you're not looking at people for the value that you can give them and the value that they can bring you and go in there together, if you're not looking at them like that, you're just looking at them on a transactional point of view. And that's where everything falls down. You know, I like to incentivize the people that work for me with the people that produce the podcast. I've just brought the video guy out here for a few days. You know, it makes a difference in their life because it takes them out of the environment they're in and it allows them to think in a different way. And you're just doing exactly what you said along the path doing it. What are some of the key skills that you've learned this year, other than obviously the team that you're around? I know I was diving into your content and you're heavy on still doing things like Google ads and Facebook ads yourself. Like, break down why you're doing that yourself now instead of putting that onto other people.
So with the marketing side of things, I'd say it's the easiest skill people can learn for free that is immediately applicable and there's big return. You know, there's not many trades like that where you could sit in front of YouTube and you could pick up that skill and then straight away it's transferable into selling whatever it is that you're selling. And the beauty of marketing is once you understand how to market, you can sell anything. Doesn't matter what the product is. I mean, you know, you look at the hype with Prime and everything else that's gone on over the last few years. And
so this is your North Star skill is what you're saying?
Yeah, completely. Once you understand how to sell, it doesn't matter what the product is. You can wrap it up in any way that you want. And once you understand the psychology behind it, and once you understand how the algorithms work and the processes work and how data works, the value of data, you can sell absolutely anything. You give me a product, I can make it profitable, no matter what. And I'm confident in that. And that's exactly what I've done with the businesses that we have. It's not, you don't necessarily need a good product to begin with. You just need a saleable product, and you need to know how to sell it. And you can wrap it up a million different ways. 900,000 of them will fail. 100,000 of them can make you a multimillionaire. And the only difference is the approach in which that you take in how to sell it. And this is why I encourage people all the time. And as you know, I have a marketing company, and we still take clients on, but every time I reference anything to our marketing company, I always make sure in the same post, in the same story, in the same statement, to encourage people to go and learn themselves. And even with our marketing clients, it's a passion project for me. When I take on marketing clients, I like to take on clients who are looking to learn rather than just hire the skill that we have. I want people to take us on, use our services for 2-3 months, watch what we do, learn themselves, go off and do it on their own. You don't need to be paying me to do a job that you can definitely do yourself. And nobody knows their product better than themselves. Nobody does. And I know that from having used other marketing companies in the past, who've been my clothing brand and a few other businesses. They don't sell the product the way that I would like it to, well, I would like them to even. So if you were able to learn the marketing skills, you'll be able to sell your product exactly the way that you want, or at least framed in the way that you want, and still make it profitable. So I say to our marketing clients, look, I'll take you on for 3-4 months. We'll systemize it. I'll show you the process. We'll give you access to the back end of meta ads, which most people probably aren't even aware exists. Like normal Facebook that people see is just, and Instagram, you just have your profile grids and whatever else. But the back end of Meta on the business suites, it's quite complex, certainly in the ad manager. And it can be quite intimidating to look at. Now, I taught myself in 2021, because at the time we were spending a fortune on an ad company. And I also spent a fortune with another guy who was running ads for the gym. And what we did is we brought him on, and he made all these promises to us. Look, we're going to get you to X amount of members. Here's my strategy. I'll do this, do that. And he threw a load of numbers at me and impressions, and it sounded really impressive. I was like, okay, this guy is the real deal. We took him on. We signed a contract. He encouraged us to push everybody over to contract membership on a lower monthly fee. Within 6 to 8 weeks, pretty much everyone who was already paying the higher rate on direct debit had switched to the lower contract. He got us next to no new members. So we dropped about 30% revenue, and it nearly collapsed us in the same year. And it wasn't until the following year when I tried the same with the clothing company, and we had a similar kind of experience, because they didn't know how to package our product, because they were chances. So I thought, no, I've had enough of this. I'm going to teach myself. So this was the back end of COVID now. So this was just before we come out of the final lockdown 2021. I thought, no, I'm going to spend some time and I want to teach myself. The first time I went on it, it's terrifying. There's numbers everywhere, graphs, like boxes. It looks super intimidating. It's not until you actually, you spend a bit of time learning it, and you can do it in a couple of days. Most people who have an average degree of digital literacy could pick it up in a few days. If you know how to use Facebook and you know how to use Instagram, you can use the back end. It's not super complex. It just looks more complicated than it actually is. So I spent a few days learning, trial and error. And then within 4 weeks, I was doing 3 times the ROI that the previous companies were. It was only my product, and now I know how to market. So I picked that skill up. It took me a matter of a few days to kind of get the hang of it, and then probably took me 4 weeks to, I wouldn't say master it, because I'm still learning little niches here and there, but enough to sell my own product to the point where I didn't need to pay anyone else. So you get two different strands to meta advertising. At least if you're hiring somebody, you have to pay their labor fee, so you're paying them for their services. Then you have your ad spend. So that's how much you're spending on ads. So say you're paying somebody to do your marketing, you're paying them £2,000 a month, but you're probably spending £3,000 a month on the actual ad spend itself for Meta. Now, if you can eliminate the £2,000 that you're paying the actual specialist, that's another £2,000 that you can put on your actual ad spend. And the return that you can get on that is exponential. Like some of our gym campaigns, I can spend £3,500, pull back 140k in a matter of about 4 weeks. And it's absolutely insane.
That is mental, isn't it?
And that's the difference £3,000 can make. And most people think, oh, it's it's 2,000 on there, 2,000 on there. But when you realize the return that you can actually get on that same amount of money, and this is what I say to the majority of business owners: look, you're focusing on the wrong things. And it's true of the gym space, but it's true of most businesses. Like gym, just for an industry that I'm most familiar with. Like gym owners will think they're going to get this new piece of equipment and that's what's going to bring in new customers. And it's the most backwards logic you could ever think of. They go and buy this new fancy all singing, all dancing, I won't mention no names, but they'll spend £5,000 on this new machine and they'll think that's what's going to bring members through the door. No one gives a fuck. No one cares what machines that you've got in there. They just want good access, good parking,
24 hours,
good environments. They want convenience. They don't care how many bells and whistles and bits of tinsel you've got on your machines. They don't care. And that applies to most businesses across the board. Whereas if you were to take that same £4,000, £5,000 that you spent on that month on this one machine and you transferred that into an ad spend, you could get 20, 25, 30x return on investment on the same amount of money. Okay, well now you've got big money. Now you've got $100,000 that you made out of that $5,000. Well, you can still go and buy your £5,000 machine, and now you're left with £95,000 profit.
So when you're spending like $3,000 and you're bringing back 140, are you literally getting leads for the gym for like £1.50, £1, or
about 20 pence?
So how are you getting them? Because like when I speak to other business owners about buying leads, they're spending anywhere between like £1 to £10 for a lead. How are you getting them for 20p? Like what? Like, break that down for me. I want to hear.
You have to be quite obsessive with the numbers, and it does take time. And when I say you can learn it in 3 days, you can, but it will take you about a month to master. And it's because you can be lazy with it, in the sense of most people have tried to boost an Instagram post, and you just go boost, and you pick your age, your demographic, your interests, boost, and then just let it run. Now,
this is what I do.
Yeah. just boost.
You literally just it's now alive.
Yeah, go on. Now that can work to a degree, but you're not optimizing your results. And essentially what you want to do is you want to be testing against different audiences to optimize your return. So, for example, you're just doing one audience and you're sending it, you click, great, okay, but you're now getting, I don't know, you're spending £1 for a click to lands on your website. Now, if you're in the back end, you get substantially more data to look at. So what you do is I'm Joe Blogs, I'm selling product X. So instead of just hitting one demographic, what I'll do is I'll open one campaign with maybe 10 different audiences in it, and you'll test the audiences. So, for example, I don't know, if you were selling yoga clothes, for example, you'd set one audience up. Your age would be 25 to 55, mostly female. Interests, Lululemon, wellness, anything that you can find that's holistic. And a tool that a lot of people aren't even aware of is that Meta have an ad library. Now, because of European, it may even be global, advertising regulations, every single advert ran by any company in the world has to be listed in Meta's ad library. And if you just Google Meta ad library, it will bring it up. So if you bring that up now, so if I Google Meta ad library, I click, it'll give you a search bar. If I type in Nike, United Kingdom, search, it will show me every single advert that Nike are running right now.
I think they're running about 10,000 as well.
There you go, yeah. And what it will do is it will even show you the variations of each advert. So you can already see what your competitors are doing. And I would, like my clothing brand, for example, if you look at who's doing the best in the game, certainly in the UK, Gymshark, absolutely smash it. Now, the easy thing that you could do if you're launching a fitness wear, or, it's applicable to anything, but use them for an example. Meta ad library. Search United Kingdom, Gymshark. It will show me every single advert that they're running right now. It will tell you, it shows you how many. So say I'm seeing 5 variations of one particular advert, and that's been running for a month. That tells you that the advert is doing well. It tells you 2 things. The product that's in there, people are interested in. The other thing it tells you is that the way they're framing the advert is performing really well. So you don't have to, you've let them do the hard work. They're spending the millions on market research. They've got their board members and executive this and executive that, and they're coming up with all these ideas and they're doing their whiteboards and everything else. They've done the hard work for you. You literally just go into the ad library, see what the competitors are doing. Right, that's what they're doing. So we're going to do a slight spin on that. We're going to look for a similar product. We're going to market it in a similar way. They've done the hard work. Teach yourself how to do the ads. Now you've got this little bit of money, spend.
So how long do you look for an ad to be running in your mind, for it to be proven? Is it 2 weeks? If it's running 2 weeks, they've spent money, or is it running 30 days, or is it running 6 weeks?
It depends how much you spend on it. So once you've got, so step 1, decide the industry that you want to sell in. Decide the product. Then look for the best in the game. Search them on the ad library. See exactly what they're doing. Mimic it. And you can tell yourself, oh no, we're better than them. We don't need to look at what they're doing. Like that's naive. I mean, if you're going to release a mobile, you're going to look at what Apple's doing, and you're going to try and take the best aspects of that, and you're going to go from there. You're not going to try and reinvent the mobile.
No, but when you say you're looking at Pure Gym's ads on how they're signing clients, or you're looking at JD Gyms in the UK, which I'm sure they're ad libraries that you've looked at and extensively and seen what's working for them and what's not. If we're looking at JD's ads right now, they'd be running this one over here for a week, this one over here for a month. Is it just a case of like, okay, because that's been running the longest, obviously it's profitable?
Yes, generally speaking, yeah. So it's the time that it's left running would generally dictate how successful it's been, because the amount you spend is how you get the results. So, for argument's sake, to go back to your original question. So if I'm selling product X, I will then set 10 different audiences up, slightly different variations in what they actually are. So when you're boosting a post and you're picking the criteria, instead of just doing that on the front end, you go in the back end and you'd set 10 variations of that advert up. So we've got our yoga product. And so audience one, which is called an ad set. So you get three sections to meta ads. You get your campaign level, your ad set level, which is your audience, and then the ad level, which is what your advert actually looks like and where it shows up. So in the audience set now, we've got, okay, so the first one, we're going to go women 20 to 40, interests in Lululemon, holistic this, wellness that. There's one. The next one down, you'd maybe change the age around a little bit. We're going to go 18 to 25, and we're going to try some different interests, and then you'd maybe do a broad one, so you just do the age, and you'd let Facebook do the work. And you'd set 10 of these adverts up, and you'd leave them running for a week. You come back at the end of the week, you see which are the top 3 performers. All right, okay, well, we're going to ditch the bottom 7. We're going to increase the ad spend. So say you're spending £100 a day on these 10 adverts, so each advert is getting £10 each. Run that for the week, you get to the end of the week. Well, now we know the top 3 performers, so we're going to ditch the bottom 7, so now we've saved £70. So we're now going to put that £70 onto the 3 that are doing well, maybe make some minor tweaks, leave that running for another week.
So now you got £33 on each one running on 3 ads.
So now we're at the end of week 2. We've got the 3 left. So you should know by that point which audience is performing the best. So we ditch the other 2. So now we know our audience, which is almost always going to be the same. You can test variations. If you're releasing a new product, it may differ slightly, but once you know your demographic, you know it. So it's worth you spending the 2 weeks of spending big amounts on the actual audiences just to know exactly what your demographic is, because you might think you know what your demographic is, but until you spent this money, you don't actually know for sure. But that will give you hard data on what it is.
So what's your best conversion rate? Is it sending them to the Facebook lead form? Is it sending them to a landing page where your pixel is embedded into? Or what's the best way to you've found of getting the conversion?
I'd say definitely onto the website. So again, there's a middle step in the process now. So you have your audience. Now to that same audience, you're going to run 5 different types of the advert. And you can do this all day long.
Quick one for you guys. This podcast is sponsored by ContentRemover.com. As many of you are probably aware, I set up ContentRemoval.com in 2017 to help people remove all forms of online content. And I've looked after some of the biggest names and brands in the world doing it. And I would love to help you if you're struggling. If you're struggling to remove images, videos, search results, fake accounts, or anything online, go to ContentRemover.com and we'll help you today.
This is where, and you're just to break this down even further, this is where you're changing the headline title and the body copy.
So you're changing the copy, which for those who aren't literate in that space, copy is just the wording that you use on a particular advert. That's your your slogans, your description. So you've done your 10 audiences, you're down to 1. You know what your demographic is. Great. Now you've got the advert, so you're going to do variations of the advert and test it in the same way that we did before. So you're going to change the images slightly, change the text overlay. So if you've got like a sale badge on there, you'll change the colors of it, where it's placed, your caption, your headlines, you'll change which emojis that you use. You'll do different variations of the same deal. Like, for example, you can just do a straight discount. So you could do, say you've got a £50 product. I'm going to give you 50% off. So that's now £25 for me. You'll get an extra £25 worth of value. But you can also do what we call a GWP. So that's a gift with purchase. So you'll then list the same advert at £50, so you're still paying the top bank, but you get this product for free. Now, if you've got a product that you pay £25 for at cost, but it retails at £100, you can say, spend this £50, you get this product for free worth £100, you're now getting £150 worth of value. The deal is exactly the same to you. You're getting £25 worth of value on at the end of it, no matter what. So to you, it doesn't make a difference. To the customer, it does. Some people want the discount, some people want the added value. So you have that, you test it, and then I generally send people to the website for the fact that the pixel is fantastic. Facebook pixel is absolutely brilliant because it allows you to retarget. So say you run all of these adverts, not every single person is going to convert to a sale. If you get 1,000 clicks onto your website, that's someone that's interested enough to click the advert and then land on your website. Not all of that 1,000 are going to convert. See the product, see the price, maybe see the price of the shipping, and they're going to drop off. So what the pixel allows you to do is you can then create an audience from the pixel itself. So when you're setting your audiences on meta ads, as I say, you pick your age, interest, whatever else, you can actually create an audience based on the pixel. So you can go to the pixel and you can say, right, well, I want to create an audience of everybody that's visited the website in the last 30 days. So you know them people are interested, but they didn't convert. So you can set a rule. Everyone that's been on my website in the last 30 days who didn't convert, maybe they added to cart, but they didn't convert. So then you can retarget with them. So you already know they're interested, but they didn't quite cross the line. So, if you incentivize them just a little bit more, you will probably get them over the edge to the sale. So you'll target just that specific audience and you'll send them an extra 10% off. In the same way, most people will have gone on an e-commerce website, added something to their basket, left it for a few days, and then they automatically get sent an email. Oh, we see you're looking. Here's 10% off. And that will usually push people over the edge to go, oh, now it's worth it. I'm getting good value. So the pixel is super valuable, and that's why I'd send people to the website, but also because you can create what's called a lookalike audience, which is super, super valuable. So if I set the parameters in my audience level at, say, every single person that's visited my website in the last 365 days, yeah? So when the pixel's sat on your website, it's collecting the data of every person that goes on there. So I now create an audience of every single person that's visited my website in the last 365 days, so you know they're interested. Facebook will then, if you ask it, create a lookalike audience, and you can pick percentages, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. Well, I will say to Meta, everyone who's visited my website in the last 365 days, then I want you to create me a 1% lookalike audience. And what that does is that scans the interests, the activity of every single person that's been on your website and collects a bank of information. Right, well, now they have the average age is X. They all kind of like similar things. They follow this bodybuilding page, they follow this fitness page, or, wherever your niche is. And it will then generate an audience list of the top 1% of people that match those people that come onto your website. So you've got your exact demographic because they've been on your website, so you know they're interested, and then Facebook will generate a lookalike audience and find so many tens of thousands of people that match all the same interests of them people. You know that's your demographic, so you can go straight at them as well. So then all this testing that you did early on, it gets refined and refined and refined. So you're in theory, your cost per click, your cost per conversion should be getting lower and lower and lower and lower because you are targeting more and more of your particular demographic, and you're refining. So when you started at £1 per click, you're now down to 13 pence per click because you're showing adverts to people who are almost certainly interested in your product. It's just a matter of incentivizing them to cross the line. So I'd always go for the website, depending on what you're doing. If you're in coaching and it's a bit more of a personalized service, if you're in any type of coaching or services, probably a lead form or maybe a WhatsApp business. People want to, before they engage and hire you as a person rather than a product, they probably want a bit of engagement. So it allows you to integrate with WhatsApp business. So you can send people directly to WhatsApp. So the advert will show John Smith offering coaching services or architect services, whatever it is you do. And instead of the buy now button or get promotion, it will be chat now, talk now, and it will take you straight through to WhatsApp business. And then you're engaging with them then. And don't get me wrong, not everyone's going to convert and you may get a little bit of time wasted, but when you're in the service industry and you're offering yourself and your own services, people do want a bit more of one-to-one interaction. So it will almost certainly be better to send them to either an inquiry form or a WhatsApp. If you're selling a product, I'd say go straight to website, straight to conversion, collect that data, and that's the best way to optimize what you're doing.
I love that. I think from what we've just discussed there, I think that's clear to see that the 20% that's changed your life in the last 2 years has been your ability to run ads and run it profitably. It's the biggest skill that I'd say you've learned.
1,000,000%.
Because to be able to get leads for a gym for 20p is unheard of. I don't think there's anyone in your industry doing that in the UK.
No, they don't get particularly close. And as I say, you get the pure gyms and the like, and they're spending £1 million on their fit out. Then they've got a big marketing department that they're spending a fortune on, and then they're sending their content creators and their banks and banks of content creators and photographers to go and take more images. Like, they're spending a fortune. Whereas I run our own ads. We have an in-house media guy who I brought on, gave him a salary. We have our exclusivity contract with the manufacturing company in China. Like, we have everything completely boxed off, even down to like our electrical items. Like, one of my business partners, who's a really good friend, he has a huge electrical company. He works on like football, Liverpool football players' houses and stuff like that. So he's top of the game. But we've taken his skills, gone out to China, found sources for all the cheap electronics, which is the same that all the UK wholesalers are using. We just cut out all the middlemen again. So absolutely everything that we do from start to finish is directly at the manufacturing source. And we know how to market it, all the skills in. So we're saving a fortune. So any other competitor can't really keep up with us for the fact that they're spending so much more than we are, and they're waiting so much longer to get their money back in the bank. Whereas what we're spending on a fit out, we make back. If I spend X on opening a gym, within a couple of months, it's paid for itself. But we lend that money anyway for the most part. Not all of it, but we lend it for the most part. And if you're lending, for example, if you're lending $500,000 and you've got to pay that back over 5 years, you're paying back $1 million a year with a little bit of interest. We're making $3-4 million per year. Then the interest that you're paying plus that, by the time you paid your loan and your interest off, everything else is profit. So it's costing us nothing to make millions.
So break down then, how much is a Pure Gym costing the same size as what your gym's costing?
Surplus million.
Right, so you're getting something for $500,000 that they're spending one and a half for.
We're less, yeah. So we could do a site similar spec to them, significantly nicer aesthetically with better equipment, probably 350-400 grand. They're spending about 1.2 million.
I noticed when you were looking at sites that
I love
you look for the Pure Gym, right?
Yeah.
It's clear to me that you're looking for the Pure Gym, and sometimes you stick them next door. How are you getting away with that?
As in, how do we survive?
Yeah, how do you do it? Like, if you stick your gym next door to a Pure Gym, aren't you cannibalizing?
No, so that's exactly what we do. So we look for Pure Gyms, as you say. We've got an offering on a site at the moment, which is off our front doors are next to each other. It's the same units. They have unit 1. We'll have unit 2. Now, most people would think it's a terrible idea. How are you going after the biggest guys in the game? Because they have like 250 sites. I think their worth is about 1.4 billion now. So they're the biggest players in the game, without question. And they're publicly listed, big money. Now, because we open for such little amount and we offer a better service, better quality product, it's almost guaranteed that we will cannibalize them rather than the other way around, which most people would think, oh no, you're going to get absolutely annihilated here, but we don't. And they've done the hard work for us. Again, similar to what I said with the ad library. They've already made that location somewhere where people are used to going to the gym. Like, that's a norm. For their 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 members, they are used to that pattern, going to that exact location to go to the
Same
gym.
car park.
Same place. They're used to it. They know their route back from work. They know how far it is from their house. They know how long it's going to take. If they've got to go and get the kids after school, it's going to take exactly 12 minutes from Pure Gym. They've done the hard work. Again, they've spent the millions in market research. They know that area is good. Otherwise, they wouldn't open there, because they've got boards to answer to. We've got shareholders to answer to. So you know for a fact that they've spent tens and tens, if not hundreds of thousands, on research of that area to know that it's going to win. So they've already done the hard work. So we come along, open next door for a fraction of the price. We offer a better service. Granted, we're slightly more expensive, but we offer a better service, better product, better environment, way cooler atmosphere. So all the members just go, why am I paying £25 a month here for this miserable hospital when I can just move next door and go into this club life atmosphere where you've got happy staff? Because our staff are great, and again, we incentivize them properly. Staff are looked after. We do everything as a family. We go on days out together. We go on trips abroad together. We do absolutely everything together. So everybody's happy, and all of my staff, they know all of the members. They know what the kids' names are. They know where they go to work. They know what foods they like. They know, it's like going to what the pub was 15, 20 years ago. The barmaid knows you, Frankie, knows what you drink, he knows what you want, he knows you want a packet of peanuts with your pint of Guinness. They know you, and then you'll have a chat about your wife and whatever else. You go into Pure Gym, it is soulless. It looks like a hospital waiting room. There's no staff. The PTs that are in there are absolutely miserable because they get treated like crap, and then they're charged £700 a month in rent, which is the biggest scam in the industry as far as I'm concerned. So they're miserable. So when you get this opportunity to come literally next door to this happy place, it jumps.
So what is the price point difference in membership fees?
Double. So we charge double, and people run to us because it's value for money.
Is this down to the aesthetic, the equipment, and is it the whole package?
The entire service, yeah. And it's certainly certainly for the PTs at least, there's a financial element to it. So we are well known, and we're somewhat of an industry upsetter for the fact that we don't charge PTs rent, which is the norm across the industry. Most people will get charged. If you're Frankie Lee PT, you want to go and PT out of Pure Gym, they will charge you £700 a month just to operate from there. Now, bearing in mind your clients are paying members, you're a paying member, they charge you £700 just to offer that service, which I think is absolutely insane. That's the price of a mortgage. You're taking the opportunity away from somebody to buy their own home, and that's how I see it. And they will say, oh, well, you're making money from our space. Well, hang on. If your clients are paying for a membership and you're paying for a membership and they use it for the same hour they would as if they didn't have a PT, what difference does it make? If you're there anyway and I'm there anyway, I'm not getting any extra use out of the equipment. I'm using the exact same as I would if I was not getting PT'd. So you're not doing anything extra. You're not taking up any space. But not only that, the value that a PT adds to the business is longevity in the members. If members are getting good results and they've got a good experience in the place, they're significantly more likely to stay. So membership retention for those who are PT clients is higher than those who aren't. So PTs are doing gym as service, and in return for that, they're charging you £700. So now you're struggling to make ends meet. It's almost guaranteed you're not going to be able to buy a house because you can't save up enough to get a deposit, and you can't pay your monthly. You couldn't pay a monthly mortgage anyway because you're paying more than a mortgage to Pure Gym. It's absolutely backwards. So we are, obviously our slogan is the people's gym, and it's not just a happy tagline we pulled out of a Christmas cracker. That's exactly what we want. We want people to have opportunities because there's a lot of money to be made in our game, to the point where you don't need to be greedy. And because we have control, and Pure Gym don't, they have board members. If someone comes up with this great idea and they're, look, our PTs are doing great for us, we want to be able to reduce their rent or give them an opportunity, people on the board are going to go, well, our shareholders aren't going to like that. That's going to lose us so many 100,000 per year. Not a chance. So they don't have control of their own business because they are slaves to the board, and the board are slaves to the shareholders. So we have, and we always will have, control of our own business so that we're able to do stuff like that and give people opportunities, because it's a space that promotes health, well-being, happiness, longevity in life. Why are we not encouraging PTs to stay and giving them the opportunities in life whilst they're literally saving people's lives, reducing massive strain off our public health services by getting people healthier and happier and more productive? Are going to charge you for it? Like, it is goods. And I think it's one of the biggest crimes in the fitness industry. And the fitness industry is huge. It's about, if memory serves right, there's about 8.5 million people in the UK with a gym membership. Like, that is massive. And there is huge profits to be made, and there's big opportunities for people, but these big corporations, they just won't give it.
So how much do you envisage the size of this business growing with Bodytech?
It will be exponential. So we're growing fast, and I've had to do this from nothing. So we've been...
In terms of sites, how many sites do you envisage?
I would say we're going to aim to do 7 or 8 a year. Now, we could probably do a little bit more, but that would require external contractors, external staff, and then you slowly start to lose that, that hands-on approach. And, even in like the franchise side of things, you see that the headache that McDonald's had early on, like, you lose control, you lose quality. We don't want to do that. I would rather cap our growth and hold on to our values than just send it to the moon, exit. Because we could exit now, we could exit in a year, and we'd all have enough money to last the rest of our lives. You'd never have to work again.
What do you reckon the exit fee would be if you exited right now?
If I exited right now, all the companies, well, say I exit December from all the companies, 11, 12 million. You'd never have to work again. You could put that in an investment portfolio. You could put that in a nutmeg. You'd be making 500k a year in interest.
Yeah.
How are you spending that? How are you spending 500k a year passive? It's not going to happen. But, and that's why, so we've had to bootstrap to get to the point where we are now. And the term bootstrapping is essentially the success of one business, you're using it to fund the second business, and then you're using business 1 and 2 to fund business 3, and then 1, 2, and 3 to fund 4. So we've been hindered by the fact that we started with absolutely nothing, because obviously my background, and those who listen to the first episode know I come from absolutely nothing, zero, minus. So we've had to go from nothing, build, save, invest into the next one, use 1 and 2, invest. And we're only now at a point where it's like, right, well, there's excess capital, we're in a good place. But not only that, we have investments on board now, which is going to enable me to not need to use my own money to invest into the businesses to keep going. So we're going to be able to grow exponentially now without me having to keep draining the businesses, but into the next one, into the next one, into the next one. And that's put me in a place where I'm able to give an opportunity to those who've helped me get there. And obviously we've we've spoken about this off air. And my plan for the next kind of 12 months, and the reason why I'm in Marbella is because we were sealing this investment, is the lads that have helped me get to where I am now. And we touched on this briefly before with the shares. I wouldn't have what I have now if it wasn't for the friends and team that I have around me, giving me their time for free, giving me their ideas, giving me their support. There's been times where they've had to bail me out financially just to see me over. Look, I've got 2 months until our next big amounts of our big payments due in. I need someone to see me over. Well, Nick, I can go to the bank and I can lend this now. Put themselves a huge risk, right? Okay, there it is, Nick. 2 months down the line, I'll give them their money back, another 50% on top. And I wouldn't have been able to grow, and I'd probably be bankrupt by now if I didn't have them people around me. So I am not naive to the fact that I'm in this insane position now where, as I say, I'd never have to work another day in my life if I stopped now. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them people. So now that we have this investment on board and I'm not having to use my own money, for the next sites that are opening, and this is just for the rest of this year, the next 3 sites that we have opening this year, I've said to the lads, look, now we've got the external investment, and our investor only wants a small percent, and then percentage return on the actual loan itself. I've said to them, look, I will give up 50% of each site to split between you all over the next 3 sites, so there's 150%, and this is just till the end of the year, so that's about 3 million in value. I've said to the lads, and we had a big meeting. We went up to the Lake District, we booked the castle out, just for the kind of strategic. We're here now. We're in the castle. This is game on. And on the build up to this, we put together our investment package. We put all our processes together, and we worked through the night in this beautiful castle, Appleby Castle. It's called. Put this together, and then we went out looking for investment. And it's taken us a few months, but now we've got there. So between now and the end of the year, I'll give away about 150% worth of value into the lads in these next sites, which equates to about 3 million. And I said to them, look, stay loyal to me over the next 6 months. Work hard. And I referenced the concept of the guys being at the wall, having to help up. I said, one of you will be last. I said, because if we open site 1 and site 2 and site 3, 3 of you will be looked after on the first one, 3 on the second, 3 on the last. But the last man on the last site is going to be the last to get it. I said, but somebody has to be last. Well, I need you to trust me now in that once we get going, every single person in this room will be looked after and you will get there. So even if you're last, it doesn't matter. I promise you on everything that I hold dear, you will be in. So by the end of this year, I'll have been true to that promise. Every single one of the lads will be looked after, and they'll have enough passive income to see them through the rest of their lives. So every single month, you'll get X amount. You don't have to work if you don't want to. So there's no labour requirements in the business. That is literally just passive. Here's your shares. There's no job role. You'll get X amount of money every 3 months. That's enough for you to live off and more.
And they train the next people into the job role over the coming months so that they can effectively have that passive.
Yes. So if you're manager, if you're say manager of one of my sites, and you're obviously a close friend of mine, or you wouldn't be there, once you get your percentages in the business and you get your free income and your passive income, you then have to give the manager's role down to the next man. You have to. I will not let the lads stay in that manager's role, making X amount per year, plus making X amount on their passive income from the shares. I won't do it. You have to then pass it down to the next man. He comes up, he does manager, he sits there for a year, 2 years maybe, and he gets his shot. And we just keep passing it down and keep passing it down. And the more that becomes clear that that's the process and we're going to stand true to it, the more we're going to find loyal, hard-working lads. Because as we grow and grow and grow, the circle that we've got at the moment, you're going to run out of men. There's no argument there. You're going to run out of men because, you're going to need to grow and grow and grow. And the bigger we get, so we have to encourage and we have to inspire. And by doing that, we're going to inspire the next generation of loyalty to come along. And we already have some younger kind of up-and-comers in our group who've been extremely loyal and they give up a ton of their time. And when you're 17, 18, you want to be out having a good time, living your life. You're a lad, you want to be out dating girls, you're having a great time. But we have a younger generation around us who've kind of seen what we've done and they've come and they're chipping in. And instead of going out of a weekend, they're saying, well, what can I do? How can I help? What can I do? And come and chip in. And these people will come and work for free. And that's the exact process that we do. Is we want to see you put the blood, sweat and tears in. And the understanding of, if you are loyal enough, you don't have to be talented. There is no requirement level of any skill or education whatsoever in our group. You just have to be loyal and hardworking. That is it. If there's a skill you need, we'll pay for you to go and get it. But you have to go up through the levels, come up, and then once you're there, you have to help the next man up. And it's made our growth exponential, and we're just going to keep going in that fashion.
When you get like 9 to 12 people over the next 12 months, 16 months, exit their positions as managers and other positions within this business, obviously they've got this passive income now, which they can live off for the rest of their lives, and that's all cool. But they will want to do something. What are they going to do for the business?
So they have, I mean, there's different people with different goals in life, and not everybody has the same kind of personal life dynamic. So I have a quite flexible life, and in my ideal world, everyone comes and travels the world with me and just has a great fun, loads of adventure, and everything's wonderful and magical. Not going to happen.
Sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, I mean, my
now what's really going to happen, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, those who follow me on social media and have known me long enough know that I am categorically obsessed with the story of Peter Pan. That is me. I'm headed to Neverland, and I will be Peter Pan forever. You're never going to get me to grow up. I couldn't imagine anything worse than conforming to societal norms of you have to do this and you have to do that, and you work yourself to death till you're 70. You know, then you retire, then you enjoy life for 3 years, and then you drop dead of poor health because you couldn't exercise, you're on poor diet, you hated your job, you were miserable. The end. That's not life. What I want for my people, and it's not going to fit everybody, is I want them to experience life. Now, I was lucky enough to travel the world up until I was 21, 22. I'd been everywhere and I'd done everything. I met people from every culture, every race, every religion, and that's broadened my mind and broadened my skill set and broadened my ability to problem solve like no one's business. And I want that for my people who, a lot of them have never been anywhere. They've been to an all-inclusive holiday in Spain, which is basically Britain with better sun, British food. It's, you know, and I want them to be able to experience the world. So for me, that's what I want for them. Some of them have families, they have children, they have wives, they have ambitions. Some of them want an active role in the company. So the conversation that we had was, look, guys, once you have your passive, that's you. You can do what you want. You want to stay in your job, you do that. You want to have a part in the business. There's a couple of lads work outside of the business, but they contribute. Whilst they're sat in work doing their jobs, they're on their phones, checking for sites, checking for locations for us, and doing bits and bobs. So obviously the first port of call for most should probably be leaving that job. But if they want to roll in the company, that's entirely separate. It's like it doesn't come attached to your passive income. If you want to roll in the company, that's a separate salary. But don't commit unless you're going to 100% commit, because there's no expectations there. I will give you your £6,000, £7,000, £8,000 a month passive. I expect nothing from you whatsoever. But if you then want to have another role on top of that and earn another £6,000, £7,000, £8,000 per month for the company, I expect you to work hard. And I don't want anybody in the group to kind of put themselves forward for a role like that unless they're willing to give it their 100%. Because once you're making that kind of money, it gets easy to get lazy. If you're earning nearly 10k a month passive, it's very easy to become demotivated. Because what's the point? Most people, and don't get me wrong, it's easily done. You can spend that kind of money. But most people who live an ordinary life wouldn't spend £10,000. Even if you live in a fancy house, £2,000, you get yourself a fancy car, £800 a month, and you go on a couple of holidays, there's £2,000, £3,000, and your food, you've still got a bit left. You would struggle to spend it. So the idea of making more money, if you're not spending that money, what's the point? So people become demotivated. So I've said to the guys, I said, look, just be wary of getting your passive and then accepting a role and then maybe tainting the relationship between us all. Don't come in on our business unless you're 100% sure that you're willing to put in the work ethic. But people have their own ambitions as well. I've always wanted to be an artist. I've always wanted to be a singer. I've always wanted to open a coffee shop. You know, they want to do stuff like that. And I was quite inspired when I watched, I don't know if you've ever seen it. I mean, I'm not much of a football fan, but Wrexham FC, who've been taken over by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
They have a TV series on Disney for those who haven't seen it, and it is absolutely incredible what they've done there. Now, in the last series that I watched, which I think was series 3, what they've done for the players and what they've done for the town of Wrexham, which we're due to open a body tech there in probably 12 weeks, maybe a little bit less.
You've been trying to open that for a long time then.
Yes, the Welsh government is old school. They're still living in 1850. You know, they're a bit slow to get up to date with the world. But we're getting there, and we've got big support, and we've got huge support from the community and huge support from some of the big business magnates in the area. So we will get there. We're going through planning at the minute. It's due to get passed on the 2nd of September. So Wrexham historically is quite a deprived town. It's a hard-working town. They've been through some tough times. Now, their city centre, well, was town centre. They've now been deemed a city as far as I'm aware. It's quite run down. So Ryan Reynolds and his business partner Rob, they've come into Wrexham FC and they've poured tons of money in, and they've been promoted. Now they are capped on how much they can pay the players to fit with the regulations of the football association it is that they reside in. Now what they've done is kind of a way to, show gratitude to their players for everything they've got. As I said, I think this was in the 3rd series. They've said, look, If you want to open a business, we will fund the business. So we will give you the money, or we'll loan you the money. We'll give you the business mentorship. You're going to open a business, ideally in Wrexham town centre, so we can bring the economy back up within the area. And they're giving them these huge opportunities where, say you're player X, I'm going to give you 200 grand to go and pursue your passion. What is it? Oh, I want a clothing brand. I want a coffee shop. I want to do this. I want to do that. Here's the money. Now I've got these resources around me. I'm going to give you that business mentorship for free, and we're going to help you excel, and we're going to help you exceed. And again, that's incentivizing. And I was really inspired in that they found a workaround for being capped on how much they can pay them for what they're doing in the league, because they're maybe second or third league below Premier League. I don't really know football too well. So they can only pay them so many tens of thousands per year, which compared to a Premier League football player who's getting 300, 400k a week is nuts. So this is their way of finding a workaround from how much they can pay them and reward the guys for how loyal and how hard working they've been. And that's exactly what I've been doing with my guys. But to see somebody of that stature doing it, I'm like, well, this is something.
This is the model. Yeah, this is the model.
It works. It's incentivizing. So my guys, they have their own ambitions and the stuff they want to do. Maybe they want to build their own home from the ground up, and maybe they'll focus on that project. Maybe you want a coffee shop with your missus. Maybe you want to get your partner out of her job, out of her 9 to 5 that she hates, and maybe she wants a wedding dress shop. Doesn't matter what it is. It's having the freedom to then go and do that. And I say to the lads, look, the goal is not and will never be money. Money is not the goal. Freedom is the goal. And if you get, and I talk about this a lot on social media. If you're earning 100 grand a year and you get the opportunity to earn 120 grand a year, that's 20% on top, or you get the opportunity to take your work week from 5 days to 4 days, why would you not do that? Why would you not reduce the 20% in workload rather than just getting the 20% extra money? Because it's all good and well you earning 200, 300 grand a year, but if you're working 60 hours a week, what the fuck is the point? Where's the life? Like, retirement age in the UK is what, 68?
68, yeah, I think so, yeah.
And the average lifespan is 73, 74. So you're going to work yourself into the ground. So you're 68, 69. You're probably in poor health anyway. And then you're dead in a few years. What's it all for? What have you done? There has to be a balancing act between how much money you want to earn and how much time you have to spend it and how much time you have to enjoy it and the quality of life. So I say to the lads, look, make your goal freedom. Set yourself a level that you can live off rather than, I'm on 100 grand now. I'm going to find a way to spend my 8 grand a month or whatever. And then once you get the promotion, well, I'm going to find a way to spend 9 grand a month. And then you're constantly in this cycle of buying more money, earning more money, buying more things, round and round and round and round and round before you know it.
Have you been in that cycle yourself and experienced it, where you've gone and you've done the what I call the Louis Vuitton lifestyle, where you're buying all the brands,
living beyond your means?
Not living beyond your means. Like I know people that have the money to buy it, but it's just to me, it just seems like they're bored. They just will have to buy something.
They don't. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and I have. Don't get me wrong. I have some fancy stuff in my life, and I've just bought an antique car. That is pure marketing. That is not me at all. Like so I've just bought a Lamborghini Urus, and that is a marketing stunt. Already from getting that and putting some pictures up, we brought in like another 10 marketing clients in the last 8 or so. It's about 10k a month, which is significantly more than it costs to buy the Lamborghini. That's a stunt.
Just to break down so that people truly understand how much a Lamborghini costs, how much does it cost on the monthly payments out of a Lamborghini?
About 5k thereabouts. So
I wanted people to hear that, Nick, because it's like I could have had a Lamborghini bloody 4 or 5 years ago, but I just don't see the point, because anybody can really have one faster than what they think when you break it down, can't they?
Yeah.
Like it is a bit of everyone thinks they're out of reach, and that just tells you how in reach it is. Like you can literally get one for 5k per month.
Yeah.
So
you can buy a used one for a lot less, about 2.5 grand a month.
Right. So you've only got to have 3 marketing clients of 5k per client, and you can have a Lamborghini, and you can pay for your house, and you can live where you want in the world, really. Like when you break it down, it's so people just build this massive wall from their dreams, but it's when you actually sit down and write down what you want in life and then put a number next to it. And if you want the Lamborghini Urus, cool, that's 5k per month in the UK for a brand new one. It's 2.5k for a used one on a finance payment. Nick's just told you that. It's closer than you think.
It's definitely manageable. But whether it fits your lifestyle is obviously the different question, but it is certainly manageable. You could buy a Lamborghini that's 10 years old that you wouldn't know. You put a private plate on it, you wouldn't know. And you pay £2,200 a month on it. The insurance is nowhere near what people think. I pay more insurance for because I have 2 Teslas that are on the business. I pay more for my insurance on the Teslas which are 5 times cheaper than the Lamborghini. Then I pay for the Lamborghini.
If you don't mind disclosing, can you just break that down as well? Like what is it to cost to insure a Lamborghini?
So I pay for the 2 Teslas, I pay $6,600 a year. For the Lamborghini on its own is about 3.5.
Again, totally reachable. Totally reachable.
That's with points on my license as well. I haven't expired. So it would be even less. So you'd probably be looking at about 2K, 2.5. That's
And because you sign write it and put body tech all over it, and stuff like that, does it become, can you write anything off against tax for marketing?
not really, no. So I couldn't buy my car through the business. So you have something in the UK called benefit in kind tax. And most people don't know this. And most people go and buy their fancy cars, their Lamborghinis, their Porsches. They buy it on the business and they get away with it. But what they don't realize is if HMRC ever becomes aware of it, they off. So for a car, your benefit in kind tax is basically anything that any benefit from the company that you get, you have to pay a contribution towards. Now, with the Lamborghini, for example, if I was to buy that through the business, I have to, because of its emissions and because of its value, I have to pay 40% of its value in benefit in kind tax per year. So you're looking at £110,000 in tax per year just to use it. So within 2 and a bit years, I paid more than the value of the car just for the privilege of using the car. By the 5th year term, when you paid the finance off, I'd have paid 550k just in benefit in kind tax on top of the $250,000 for the car. So a 250k cars now cost you $750,000, and it's so the government can stop people abusing their business to avoid tax. Because if you're obviously buying something from the business before it gets to you, you're evading corporation tax, your personal tax. So it's to stop people buying stuff through the business, but most don't know this. And I've got friends who've got businesses who have their top spec Porsches and stuff on their business. And they're like, oh no, it's fine, everything's fine. You know, I've no issue with that. I was like, no. HMRC become aware of the fact that you have this fancy car, this, petrol or diesel guzzler that's worth 100k plus. You're going to be subject to between 37 and 40% of that value per year in personal tax. So it's enough to bankrupt you. And people aren't aware of this. And it's a good job I was before I got it. Otherwise, I'd have been absolutely screwed.
This is why the right advice and the right structuring is so important, no matter whether you're structuring in Australia, the US, UK, wherever you're structured. Just make sure you understand. I mean, in the US, you see a lot of people driving around in G-Wagons, and the reason is because of the weight of the car. It's a tax write-off in the US. So, just because of the rateable value of it.
Yeah.
So, and the weight of the thing. So it's like, that's why you see people driving them around, because they're all writing them off for the business. But that perhaps wouldn't be the same thing in the UK or Australian market.
No, so we do it with electric vehicles. So with my Teslas, I can write the entire value off against corporation tax, every single penny. See, they're electric vehicles.
So you'd be mad not to do that.
You would be nuts not to do it.
Yeah.
If you have a profitable business and you don't own a Tesla or any electric vehicle, I think the criteria is so long as the battery within the vehicle can take it to 70 miles, then it qualifies as on this particular scheme. So there's probably, and I don't know this for sure, I'm 99% positive, like the Audi e-tron range. So you can still get a fancy car, doesn't have to be a Tesla. And I love Teslas. My Teslas are better than the Lamborghini, hands down, 1,000,000%.
I disagree. I completely disagree with you.
I love my Teslas, but that's because I'm not a car guy. I don't like cars. I don't like driving. I like to sit in my car and I like it to drive me, which for a Lamborghini owner sounds absolutely nuts. But I don't care about cars. I don't care about the image. It's just a market employee. Like if you'd have seen, so I was meant to get my Lamborghini. Couldn't get me a transport driver to bring the car up to me until a Monday, and this was on like a Wednesday. But I'd already promised one of our junior staff who's 17, he had a school prom on the Friday. I said to Lamborghini, I said, can't. And I promised this kid, I'd give him my word that I will take him to prom in this car on Friday. This was midweek maybe. I said, you told me I was going to get it. I need the car. I said, so you need to find a way to get it to me. It was down in London. Obviously, I'm up north. So the girl at Lamborghini, Ellie, really nice girl, she said, look, next, she said, I can drive it to you if you want. If you give me permission, I'll drive it from London to you so you can do this. I said, okay. I said, that's amazing. Don't worry about the miles or whatever else. I said, just bring it to me. So she drives it up and she calls me when she's near, maybe an hour away from me. She's like, is there any chance you can meet me at Stockport train station? It's about 40 minutes from me. She said, because then I can just jump straight back on the train and go straight back to London. I said, okay, yeah, fair, no problem. So I can't imagine this has happened very frequently. So she gets to Stockport train station. She's there to meet me. I get one of the guys to drive me up, and I just come straight from a badminton match. I'm in my scruff, so I'm in a vest. I'm in a shorts, and I've got holes near the knee, covered in sweat. I've got my North Face sliders on, pair of socks, with my toe sticking out a hole in the end of my sock. She gets out the Lamborghini at this train station. She's got a Lamborghini bag and a Lamborghini shoe jacket or whatever, and she looks like $1 million. And there's me looking like a homeless guy, and I'm just like, oh yeah, thanks. Gives me this big hug or whatever. Took a little video on my thing. I was like, look, this isn't me. This purchase is specifically a marketing tactic. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful car, and I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like it. It's a beautiful car. It's a work of art. Don't care about stuff like that at all. I like convenience. Like my ideal, my dream life is to just get my team, take them to Thailand, middle of nowhere, climb some mountains, bag of weed, rock climbing shoes, bag of weed. That's me. And for those who are listening, I am actually prescribed, yeah. But that's me. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy climbing mountains. I enjoy adventure. I enjoy sports. And don't get me wrong, I've done it, but I don't like going to the big fancy restaurants and doing these big pretentious events. Like, that's not me at all. And that's a space that I have to navigate because it's good for business. And don't get me wrong, there's some fun experiences there, but that's not where I get my kicks. I like being around people. I like adventure. I like danger. I like extreme sports. Like, that is me. You take me to the middle of nowhere, you take me to the jungle with my friends, and we just have a crazy adventure. That's what I love in life. All these things that we have around us, which is great. And don't get me wrong, like, having the fancy car is good because my team, a bunch of the lads are insured on it as well. So they get to, take their girlfriends out and they get to do whatever else and take their kids to school. And, we all get some fun out of it because we all come from the dirt. We all come from council estates, and none of us in our life trajectory were ever set to be sitting in a £250,000 car. So it's nice to kind of have that toy, and and just for me specifically, it's a nice little fuck you at the system that would have kept us down and in the bottom forever. So, to have these kind of toys is great, but again, it's not the kind of space that I want to thrive, that I do thrive in. I just want to get all my friends and just go and explore the world. That's it. Keep your 7-star hotels. I'll happily sleep in a bloody Formula One £20 a night hotel. I don't care. I just want to go and see cool things, enjoy some history, enjoy some sports. That's me. I'm good.
So what keeps you getting up every day to keep working in this business and keep taking it to the next level? Like, what actually inspires you most about it?
Helping other people. And that sounds like the kind of nonsense you'd see on the back of Hello magazine of somebody just trying to be cliche, but it's not. And it sounds, when I say about giving these shares away and giving this value away, it sounds like I'm trying to come across like I'm altruistic or I'm charitable or I'm selfless. The reality is I'm quite selfish. The reason I'm trying to do that is so that I have all my friends in a position where they can come and experience the world with me for my dreams. So, if at the moment now, if you're hyper wealthy, great, it's fantastic. But unless everyone around you is hyper wealthy, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Okay, I want to go to New York this week. Who fancies going? Oh, I can't take time off work. I can't afford it. I can't do this. I've got these obligations, that obligations. It's miserable. So until I get my friends in the position that I'm in, which, as I say, by the close of this year, it should be exactly where we are, I can't really enjoy what I've got. Because, as I say, I just want to go and enjoy the world. And don't get me wrong, I could pay for everybody, which I have. Like, I'm paying for the business at least is paying for our whole squad to go out to Rome in September, and then we're all going to Tokyo in November, and to China in December, and then we're all off to Thailand in January, and the business is paying for everyone. There's about 15, 16 of us, which is great. But you don't want to, and we touched on this kind of dynamic earlier, you don't want to have, as my friends, and I wouldn't want to either, you don't want to be reliant on somebody for stuff like that. And anything could happen. I could die tomorrow. And if you've kind of give up your job for me to just pay for you to do X, Y, and Z, and then I die, what have you got left? So I want to empower my friends to have their own space and their own passive income, so that if I say to the guys, look, I fancy going to Rio for 2 weeks, who fancies coming with me? And I know not one of them can say to me, I've got work. Well, no, you haven't. I know you haven't. I can't afford it. Well, you can, because I know you can. Just tell me you don't want to if you don't want to. Do you know what I mean? But I want to give them that option to wherever I want to go in the world. Do you want to come? They can say, well, yeah, I fancy it, or no, I don't. And that's fine. But I want them to be in a position where it's their choice with their money to do what they want to do. And that's where I get my kicks, is trying to get my friends to the position where I am, because anything that I make now, anything that I add to my net worth now, not going to change my life. I'll still be exactly the same. Like, I don't even venture out of my bedroom much. Like, I don't use any other space in my house. I live in my bedroom. I have my mini fridge in my bedroom. I have my ensuite. I have my TV in there. It's probably extremely unhealthy, but I eat my dinner in my bedroom. I watch TV in my bedroom. I get showered in my bedroom. Everything is in this one little space. I don't want for much, because I'm used to having, so little. And Again, for those who listen to episode 1, you know I come from fuck all. Spent my entire childhood sleeping on a mat on the floor with a broken window and a broken door. We had nothing. I was stealing out of bins for my dinner. Like we had zero, but I'm used to that. Like that's the base level. So anything above that is just like a bonus. You take me back to that and it's okay. Well, I've done this before. It's just no biggie.
You came round to my apartment last year, and I don't know if you remember, but I was packing it up because
You were leaving, right?
I was leaving. It was the most happiest time I've ever had, because I literally had the table that we were sat at to do the podcast. I might have had a sofa when you came around, but maybe I don't even think there may have been a sofa, and there was a bed, and that was it. Like it's just that was it. My laptop was on the table. I worked on the table. It's the happiest time. Like generally when I'm staying in a 1-bedroom place, this is beautiful. This home that we're in right now, this is beautiful in Marbella. But when I'm staying in a 1-bedroom place and I've got fuck all, like it's literally the best.
It's liberating.
It's liberating
There's no baggage.
Yeah, there's nothing to handle. It's just me, my podcast gear, my laptop, so I can make money online. And it's like, cool, that's it. I've got clarity. As long as I've got my boxing gloves and my boxing boots and I can go to the gym, I don't care for any of that Louis Vuitton crap or any of the other stuff like that. I respect anybody that does, but to me, that's just liberation, because now you've got the full autonomy of self to go and do whatever you like with whoever you like, whenever you like. And that to me is what you go to work for. It's what you work your life for. I think we all get it's so twisted when we think it's all to do with this fancy thing and this fancy thing and the Lamborghini and this and the other, blah, blah, blah. It's just all noise. Because whilst you're here, sat here on this podcast, you've got to be thinking to yourself, if obviously you've got people looking after it, but if it's just yours and it's parked outside your house, you're thinking, okay, what's happening with my Lamborghini now? Have I got to insure that? Have I got to fix that? And all these different thought processes happen. You just simplify your life.
Yeah, completely. It's minimalist, and it's if you can get yourself to a point where you're happy with nothing, anything else is just a bonus. And if you lose it, you are happy anyway. You just go back to neutral where you were before, and that's kind of where I've tried to stay. And don't get me wrong, I've lost my personality a couple of times over the last decade, not so much in the last few years, but I have done before, and I've come back around again. But once you get comfortable with nothing, anything else is just a plus. And it's like some of my friends who sit more on the periphery of my social life are kind of like, well, you're letting him drive your Lamborghini, you let him take it here, I'm like, yeah, it's a toy. Well, what if he crashes it? He does. It's insured. It's insured. Like, and what? Like, it's not. It doesn't define me at all. Like I really don't. It sounds silly to say I don't care. I don't mean it in the sense that I don't appreciate these things, but they don't define me at all, and they don't dictate what. I don't think, oh no, this is going to happen to that. I don't care. If you took me back to absolute zero again, I would be stimulated for the fact that now I've got a challenge.
Being honest, from where you've come from, which was like literally fuck all, because we know your story, I know it very well. What was the number when you got to that number? You were like, wow, like now I'm like free and everything else is a bonus from here.
I think the difference there is, it's not so much a number, it's the passive number. Because as I said before, like if I'm making 10K a month, but it's 50 hours a week, it's not worth doing. I would say once you get to the point where you're making, I don't know, $5,000 a month passively, you're free and clear. Now I'm miles beyond that now, but just to be at that point, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's depending on what your lifestyle is, depending on what your output is. It's relative, but you can live a very, very comfortable life on 5K a month passive, and you have all that free time to do whatever you want to do. And I would say that for anyone as a baseline. Don't get me wrong, if you live in London,
forget it.
I don't know what you're doing with $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
You can maybe rent a cardboard box on the side street. But for anyone that lives outside of London, if you're making upwards of 5K a month after tax, you're comfortable, man. You're really comfortable. You got your mortgage at £1,000 a month or whatever else. Your car for £500, a little bit in insurance, and then you've got $3,500 to play with. That's a nice life. It's a comfortable life. Don't get me wrong. So past that, because I don't want for much, and most people's number would probably be closer to 10.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want for much. That was enough for me. Now my friends, I imagine for most of them, the number for them would probably be 10.
It's mad that you say £5,000 as the number, because when my first client at contentremover.com paid me $11,200 Australian a month at the time, and that was £5,500, and that absolutely changed my life. That allowed me to do everything I wanted to do since I started. You know, to me, it was free. That was freedom money. You know, and everything on that, above that number, like you say, is to me is like, well, great, crack on. You know, yeah, obviously, if you want to live the life where you're traveling in the private jets and you're flying from here, there, and everywhere, and you're doing that 6 times a month, obviously you need to increase your revenue and stuff like that. But I think most people can live the life that they want to live for between 5 to 10K a month.
Definitely.
Really. Like, if they're absolutely honest, and you don't have to live in the Western world. You can go and live in Thailand or Bali or other places as well.
You're living like a king.
You can live.
Okay, a month.
You can live like a king. Yeah. So we all, and I was saying this back in the podcast. We all create these walls and these milestones in front of us to stop us actually getting to what we want. Oh, when we get to 10K per month, now we need to because our mate Steve down here earns 50 to 100K a month. We've now got to go and get that. But that might not actually suit your purpose. You know, I've really learned this by talking to people like yourself and people wealthier than you and people not as wealthy as you, that we all have a different vision for how we want our life to look. And it's really important that we don't look at Steve over here and Jenny over here and what they're fucking doing. It's really important to actually sit down with a pen and paper and write out what you actually want, and then just put a number next to each thing you want to do and just go and achieve that dream life for yourself. And then when you achieve it, don't just go and look for the next dream life. Go and sit with that dream life for 12 months and just see how it feels on before you go and set this next fucking goal. Because I have so many times I've climbed the ladder of what I deem as success, in whether it's financially or whatever, and when I've got there, I've quickly gone, oh yeah, I need more, and gone and got something else. And it just wasn't the right way to move. I don't know if you've seen that yourself.
Yeah, completely. You just keep pushing the envelope further and further, and it never ends. Like, unless you put a stop on it, unless you put a line on it, as you say, you assess what it is that you want. You say, right, that's the number. You don't set that number. It just goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you're in that loop forever, and it completely consumes you. What I find interesting about those who I know who are hyper wealthy is they don't really dress a particular way. They don't really have the fancy cars. Like some of the wealthiest people I know look like, you know, they are some of the most understated people I know. Like, even in our game, even the likes of, you know, Ben Francis, for example, you know, Gymshark's founder, CEO, you know, he's an extremely inspirational guy. Gymshark's worth, what, 1.3 billion now? The guy's favorite pastime is just being on his farm, spending time with his family. He doesn't dress a particular way. He's not pretentious. He's humble. You know, he's you know, his morals are still there. Like that. That's inspiring. But that I seem to, for those who are hyper wealthy, again, one of the business owners that we met in Wrexham last week, Alex Logan, he's worth about 200 million. Again, non-brand t-shirt. We met him, non-brand shorts. Like he was, and again, he's just like spending time on his farm, digging holes, taking pictures of cows. Like it's completely inspiring. And even the investor I'm with here in Marbella, and you've seen his villa, it's insane.
It's mental.
It's insane. But he built that for his partner when she was poorly and she was terminally ill. He built that for her to have like a comfortable space towards the end. When I bought the Lamborghini, he's like, I couldn't justify spending that much money on a car. Now he's worth significantly more than I am, and even he's like, justify wasting money like that. And he lives. Don't get me wrong. If he wants to do something, he'll do it. But he's not. No, he's not flashy. He's not buying. No, he's not got a row of Ferraris on his front. You know, he's, and the more and more people that I meet who've got these 9-figure plus net worths, they all seem to be the same in that they're not defined by possessions at all. They don't care.
It's Instagram that's defined our generation as this generation that wants to pursue all these what I call shiny objects. Like, and the shiny objects, I mean, like you say, the way that you're using a Lamborghini and the way it generates revenue for your business, I understand why you're buying one. But and I understand why some of my wealthy friends are buying Lamborghinis, because they generally enjoy cars. If you generally enjoy the car and you've worked hard to get there, that's a good reason to buy one. If you're using it to generate revenue for your business, that's a good reason to buy one. If I go and buy a Lamborghini Urus right now, I have no interest in cars. Do you know how many people I could get? How many people's lives I could change with my podcast just by driving that much in, you know, even if we just said it was £5,000 a month. If I just drove £5,000 a month more in ads, driving people's this podcast, that would warm my heart more, because I know what I'm here to do. I'm not here to do that stuff.
It's big value.
So it's like, understand where your value is and what value game you're playing, and then just play that. And if it doesn't suit the narrative of everyone else you see on your For You page, don't worry about it. Just roll with life how you want to roll. You know, whatever you want, go and get it. And I'm not telling anybody on here not to buy the Lamborghini. Go and buy it. If that is your dream, if that is your vision. I've got one that I want to buy at a certain level of wealth on my vision board. But when I get to that certain level, I'll have earned the right to buy it. But right now, I'm like, nah, that's $5,000 on ads towards putting more people's ears onto this podcast and actually changing their fucking life, and that's worth more to me.
Yeah, do it for you. Don't do it to please other people. And I have a picture on my phone, and it's something like people work their whole lives to buy things to impress people that they don't even like, and that tends to be the
so true.
If you want it and it makes you happy, and it genuinely makes you happy, and I'm not saying, and I'm not talking about the likes that you're going to get from putting that fancy car or fancy watch. If it makes you happy internally because it's something you want, go get it. Go buy the fancy car, the fancy watch, the fancy house, the 7-star hotel, whatever you want to do. But if you're buying it for that external validation on Instagram because you want the likes, you want the popularity, it's a recipe for it.
Well, I remember reading about Stephen Bartlett. He bought all the fancy cars when he exited one of his businesses and made a bit of money. He bought all the fancy cars and the big house. And then he got rid of all that. And what he does now is he bought a car. He bought a nice, I think it's a Rolls Royce or something like that, or a van or something like that. He's bought to transport his podcast guests in. Well, now I get it, because like for me, his podcast, that's what I would want to do. I'd want to buy the car that picks you up to put you in, that brings you to the, or maybe even buy a car that you can podcast in. That I get that. So I get how he's pivoted his life, because he's understood it from a different level of the game as well. So it's like when you see people like that, they're a little bit further ahead of you, and they cotton on like that, and the wealthy people that me and you both know that they've cottoned on like that. There's a thread here. But I also believe that you have to experience it. So you have to go and make certain dumb decisions in life, which me and you have both spent money on some dumb shit in our lives. You have to go and experience it and spend that money to realise that's not what life's about. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody who has a dream that they think is their dream.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when you buy some of these things that you think are your dream, or when you live in some of these places that you think you want to live in a lifestyle that you think you want to live because you've seen it somewhere else, you'll find out very quickly that wasn't actually the game that you're playing. The game you were playing is the game that Nick told you about half an hour ago. The game is freedom. You just want freedom of time, freedom of who you spend it with, and how you spend it. That's it.
There's nothing more valuable in life than time. Time and health. There is nothing more valuable on this planet than your time and your health. They're the two things that you'll never get back. Once you're dead, you're dead. Once you lose an hour, you're never getting that hour back. So that should be the thing that you value most in life.
And the thread that you brought through this podcast, which is just so powerful, I just want people really to get it. It's like, you know, you've curated your whole business for who you spend your time with, because you realise that, you know, if I'm working, I want to spend it with people I actually like. You know, it can't just be about you being a member of staff, and that's your ethos behind the brand and how you're running it up. And you know, once you see it, you can't unsee it, can you?
There's no going back.
There's no going back.
Once you take that red pill, there's no going back.
Yeah. What are some of the other things that you're targeting in this next 12 months that are really going to light it up?
The business as a whole, or the plan.
Your plan in life and the business. It's all the same as far as I'm concerned with you.
We just stay in the course. There's nothing I plan to do differently now. And don't get me wrong, I'd have probably said that 6 months ago, and I've done stuff differently since. You know, you can't really see what's around the corner until you get around there. But we are just going to stay the course. And if we continue to do exactly what we're doing, if we keep pushing the market and we keep focusing on eliminating middlemen, and most importantly, we keep focusing on sticking together.
Let's break this down, because this is a very valuable high-level concept for a lot of people to conceptualize, and I want you to break it down for me. The middleman analogy. Where should people be looking at their business, or how should they be looking at their business so they can eliminate all these middlemen? And what are the typical middlemen positions that businesses need to get themselves out of using?
You just need to go straight to source, and that's applicable in almost any business across the entire world. You are probably dealing with a middleman, even if you think you're dealing with source. Probably not. If you're buying a product in the UK, or you're buying a service, where are they getting it from? Okay, well you'll investigate, you research, and the internet has everything. You're going to find it on Reddit. You're going to find it on Google. There is already someone who's already asked the question. And any thought that you have is not original. You can think it is all you want, but somebody's had that same thought. Probably many people have had that same thought. So the question will have been asked, and there's probably been an answer provided. And it will be somewhere, YouTube, Reddit, pretty much everywhere that I would look. Now, if you get straight to the source in the UK and it's still pretty expensive, outsource. Have a look around China, have a look at developing countries, have a look at India, and you'll be able to eliminate the middlemen. And don't get me wrong, every product from Asia isn't necessarily perfect, but 20% of the manufacturing over there is better than what we have here. Like, long gone are the times where you buy something from China and you'd know it was Chinese. It's junk, but it's cheap. That's why we buy it. In the last 10 years, China has matched Western quality and surpassed it. Pretty much everything that you own now is made in China. You know, your clothes, the electronics in your car, your mobile, absolutely everything is made in China, which tells you that the quality over there is able to match what we expect. And you just eliminate middlemen by slowly working back through the chain. Like some of the price differences that you see in trades in the UK, like even so much as like the last, just an example from the last few days, we're in the middle of building our new headquarters, right? And we want a full glass office. So they're all going to be, we've got 5 individual glass offices with glass partitions and a big glass boardroom with a big glass long window looking down into the gym. It's a lot of glass. Now, we put it out to tender with a load of UK companies, and we'll be getting prices back between 50 to 70k plus VAT. Now, we found the glass manufacturer that's going to do it for 4,600. But the other 8 or 9 suppliers that we went to were 10 times the price. Now, most people would think that was the normal. We were like, well, where are these people buying their glass? Because they're not manufacturing it. So we looked and we asked the question. Well, now we've got the manufacturer who provides these companies in the first place. Now we've gone straight to them. Okay, well, now we just save 50 grand. And we do that with every aspect of the business. No matter what we're buying, I refuse to buy from a middleman. I'm super anal about that. I will not deal with middlemen. I want to know where you get it, and I'm going straight to source. And it's the same with services. Like, you get, it sounds like I'm pulling a lot away from the UK here, and I know a lot of people frown on that, but it's just good business. Every big company in the world does exactly what I'm telling you to do. And if you want to die on the hill of saying, oh, we have to keep the work in Britain, you do that. Good for you. Me personally, I'm about business. I will outsource to China as much as I possibly can. And, we'll push absolutely everything over there, and we get it for buttons. And even your services, even your architects, your designers, absolutely everything. You can find somebody on Fiverr, people per hour. I forget the Philippine version of it. You can find service.
Onlinejobs.ph.
There you go.
Yeah. You can sponsor the podcast, by the way, guys.
Do it. So, you can find the exact same services for a fraction of the price. And even like I'm looking to build a new home. I'm trying to build a Neverland of sorts. The plan with my team is once everyone gets their passive income, we're buying a patch of land in Cheshire. And the idea is we're going to build a private estate where everybody's on. And I have friends in Romania who have a construction company. Now, I've had the designs drawn up for this house, and I had a UK quantity surveyor price it up. It's nearly £1 million, 980,000 just for the build. Now, I've gone to my same friends in Romania, and I've been over there. I've been to the factories, I've been to the steel factories, the glazing factories, and the quality is better for the simple fact that their weather is far more temperamental than ours. Their winters are colder, their summers are warmer. So the steel is better graded, the glass is better tempered, everything is better quality. They priced up the same build for me, €300,000. So I'm saving the £750,000 per build. So the lads can sell their council houses, their ex-council houses that they bought for 300k and build themselves a £2.5 million mansion for the simple fact that we've cut out all the UK middlemen, gone straight to Romania for the actual materials and the labour, all comes over, clicks together, job done. Right. Well, now the lads who were living on the council estate are now living in a multi-million pound mansion, and it's cost them the same price. And all they've done is cut out the middleman. And that applies to every single aspect of business. Whether it's services, whether it's products, get rid of the middlemen. It's the easiest way for you to increase your profit. Get rid of them. Ask the question, where are they getting it from? If they're not manufacturing the product themselves, who is? And if they're importing it from China, who are they importing it from? Look on the internet, go on Alibaba, go on AliExpress. It is all there. The world is super connected now. You couldn't do it 10 years ago. You can do it now.
I love it, mate. I love it. That is fire. I really think that's going to change a lot of your lives if you just take that approach into everything you do, because what Nick is saying is 100% true. And you've even given me a good kick up the arse with what you just said there, because I'm paying a few middlemen in my life that I shouldn't be paying. And I'm realising it as I'm going through this episode. This is why I do this, because I'm learning just as much as everyone else. I hope you're learning as well. But Nick, I love to ask this, and I asked you this on the last episode, because I really think it encapsulates where someone's at in life and the lessons that they've learned, and distills it into this audience so it can move them forward. But if there's one piece of wisdom that you have to leave for this audience today that can move them 1% forward in their life from now, what would it be?
Assess the people around you. Get rid of the dead weight. Find out who's really loyal to you and hold on to that and nurture that relationship as best you can, and find opportunities that benefit those particular people in your life. Get rid of the dead weight. Negative people and negativity as a whole spreads like a cancer. If you've got somebody who's always a no man to you, who's always beating you down on your ideas, and friends who are always looking for what they can get rather than what they can contribute to both of your lives, get rid of them. Put the dead weight. Find the people who are truly loyal to you in your life and nurture that relationship and hang on to them until the day that you fucking die, because they are the most valuable thing in your life. More than family, more than anything else. Family is literally, well, relatives as such. That is just blood. That is just a relative. Find the people that are truly family to you, people that will die for you, because family don't always. You find the loyal friends who are there for you until the very end. Get that relationship. Find them, nurture it, build on it, build together, and you will get there. Just stick to the course, have a plan, stick to it, keep good people around you, make sure everybody is looked after, make sure everyone's on the same page, and just be loyal. Be loyal, work hard, you'll get there.
I love that, mate. And I just want to say, thank you for coming on this episode and dropping absolute value. And I want to say this as well before we go, mate. As a friend of yours and having seen what you've come from and how you've transformed your life, especially over the years up and coming to the last year and in the last 12 months especially, bro, I'm super proud of you as a friend, and I just want to say that to you on here, mate, because I love to see it, bro. I love to see the turnaround of events. Seeing people like yourself turn their lives around just shows everyone that I'm trying to put this podcast to every week that what can be achieved when you put your right perspective into life, mate. So congratulations on all your success.
Thank you, brother. I couldn't do it without the support of my friends and people like yourself, so thank you very much for both aspects of that.
No, mate, much love. And guys, do me a solid favor, subscribe to this on every platform. And if you can leave me a review, if you listen to this on Apple, hit that star button on Spotify. That really helps. All these things. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed, just consider hitting the subscribe button. I'm trying to put this out week after week after week, trying to drop value in your ears, trying to change your life on every level of the game. I hope it's doing that for you. I hope it's hitting your ears at the right time. And I appreciate every single one of you. So enjoy this and much love.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Drop a comment below and let me know who you'd like to see on this podcast next. Quick one for you guys. As you know, over the last 6 months, I've been taking on many mentorship clients and they've had some phenomenal results. Some of them 5x in their revenue, some of them 10x in their revenue, and some of them going way beyond that. Don't take my word for it. Here's some of my previous mentorship clients' results.
Hey everyone, my name is Rosa Kobani. I'm 24 years old and I've made over 8 figures online. The best people I've met are always investing in themselves. What I learned through working with Frankie is I can give some money to this person who has met virtually every major influencer in the world. You actually get a snippet of every single major player he's met and worked with. And Frankie, you made me an extra 200K within a few meetings. So bro, thank you for that.